As the country grapples with rolling power cuts that have crippled various sectors of the economy, there's been increased calls for independent power producers to be supported in order to contribute towards additional capacity into the grid. And there are some who are doing so, and especially collaborating with a number of players on the continent. Lerato Khumalo is with Novare Investments, and they have been doing some work in Mozambique. Lerato, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's start with the concept of environmental, social, corporate governance, especially in the space of energy.
Hi, Julian. Thanks for having me. Well, yeah, I mean, for Novare, the idea of obviously integrating environmental, social, and governance aspects into how we go about investing, identifying our investments, is really critical to us for us to be able to identify risks up front, as well as be able to capitalize on opportunities that exist within our various markets in which we operate.
Let's talk about those opportunities that exist, especially the Mozambique opportunity. Just introduce that to our viewers.
Yeah, well, we're very, very excited. We recently commissioned a rooftop solar installation in our mall at Matola Mall in Mozambique, which really is part of our strategy towards the decarbonization of our property portfolio. Obviously, Novare, as a prominent property investor on the continent, we're really sensitive to the fact that this sector is a high contributor towards the negative impacts on the environment that we see around us. And we are determined to do whatever it takes for us to be able to obviously reduce our carbon emissions and have a positive impact on the environment, but also obviously have a positive impact on the communities in which we invest.
What makes the continent unique, especially in the work that you do and some of the countries that you interact with? Because whether it's climate change, meetings, etc., a lot is being said about how the continent actually contributes far less in terms of carbon footprints as compared to other continents.
Yeah, Julie, that's probably true. And I suppose the source of political contentious conversation around sort of climate change and the just transition, etc. By our experience, energy security, consistency of energy supply is a real issue for us. It is very difficult for us to ensure that we can have consistency and good quality supply of energy to all of our malls operating on the continent. And so obviously we feel that everybody needs to do whatever it takes for us to be able to transition towards more sustainable and resilient energy sources for us to be able to continue to develop as a continent, as well as for all of us to be able to thrive in our various business areas. And so as much as Africa is probably the lesser contributor to the issues around GHG emissions and carbon, we certainly do have a part to play in ensuring that we can have our economies develop in a more sustainable manner.
Staying on that point, what is the importance of environmentally conscious decisions?
Well, it's really important because we're all impacted. And I think the fact that we've seen the recent floods, not only in South Africa and Africa, but globally as well, rising temperatures, Europe is coming out of sort of very high heat at the moment. So these are sort of the experiences we can all identify with in terms of climate change. And so it's really important for us to be climate conscious in everything that we're doing moving forward, in order for us to be climate resilient and for us to be able to adapt, to ensure that we innovate within the various sectors that we operate in, to ensure that we can be able to get through these changes that we're experiencing, have new innovations in terms of technology for us to be able to continue to grow our economy. So working with climate considerations in mind, ensuring that for us as a property developer, that when we identify sites, when we develop sites, we have a really conscious decisions around, how we preserve biodiversity, how we can ensure that the developments that we have are green in every way possible, by ensuring that we design for energy efficient buildings that are water efficient, and that we somehow ensure that we can have a more inclusive, I suppose, property to environment relationship in the context of our developments. And so we're always, considerate of how it is that we're impacting the environment, and also contributing towards climate resilience.
Sure. At the beginning of the month, you announced a significant investment in PV panels as an eco-friendly and renewable energy source to curb carbon emissions across the continent. We've touched on Mozambique, but you're looking to do more work with other countries.
That's correct. Novare has investments around sub-Saharan Africa, namely Nigeria, Zambia, Mozambique. And our goal is to ensure that we decarbonize or reduce our carbon footprints in each of these properties. And so after we've now installed in Mozambique, our next step is to be able to go to Nigeria. We're just, waiting for our license to come through in Nigeria. And we hope that within the coming months, we'll be able to start planning around the installations for the malls that we have in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Lerato Khumalo, for your time this afternoon. She's with Novare Investments. More news for you.